rise for invocation. Mr. Arjona, can you lead us, sir?
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your blessing and help as we gather here together today. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that will benefit our city. We ask this thing always in your name. Amen.
Face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Under do we have any public comments right now? Ms. Diana? No? Okay. Go ahead. Mr. Arjona?
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, community, staff, good evening. The first item on the agenda, we have presentations. Tonight we have presentation of department reports. Today we have the Department of Finance, Fire Department, Police Department, Municipal Court, and Department of Utilities. Everybody should be here. Should have any questions for them.
If I may.
Go ahead. Yeah, Mayor's not here. Go ahead.
Mr. David Salinas, quick question, sir. I'm looking at the report, and I noticed that you've always reported the water loss as far as the reported and unreported. And can you clarify it to me as far as the unreported is concerned?
The unreported is estimate based on the amount of water that we lose at, say, a water break or water leak. We use a calculator that was developed by the city of Austin. Okay. And we determine the size of the crack or the break on the pipe and the diameter of the pipe, and enter the length into the calculator and the amount of hours or minutes that it ran based on when we were notified. So that gives us an estimate of those numbers. So those numbers are fairly conservative because we don't account for absorption of the water into the ground. So if we were to account for that, it would take a much more, we call it, calculation that'd be way above our pay grade, actually. So.
And the reason I'm asking, Mr. Salinas, is because I know that we have a resident that lives on Miguel Hidalgo, and yes, apparently she's already reported some type of leakage on the alleyway.
Yes,
apparently people have gone out there, but
yes.
No,
yeah, the time that we went, the neighbor had emptied a pool into that alley, and that's what's standing water from the pool. We've gone out there already 3 times, and there is no visible leak. The only other option would be to go out there and dig it up and see if there's something in there, but we'd have to dig up the alley and chase something we just can't find, because there is no visible water flowing out of the ground. Right. But we've been out there like I said, 3 times already. Okay. But the first time we went out there, the neighbor had emptied out a pool and it overflowed into the alley. Yeah.
The concern is that this is a daily thing.
Yeah.
During the day, it'll dry up, but then at night, overnight.
Yeah. See, and that's one of the things that we tell her. If it would be a city leak, it would be flooded all the time. Because
if it were not a city leak, wouldn't bills reflect the leak?
Well, it could be a sprinkler, and they've accounted for it already. And the sprinkler head comes on at nighttime, is flooding the area, so it could be the neighbor. They just may not know about it, and they've already gotten used to the bill being that high, that they've gotten used to that amount. What I can do, I can schedule one of the operators to go by there at nighttime and see if they see any sprinkler heads flowing in the area. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Well, another idea, maybe as early as day breaks in the morning, because it should be fresh. I don't think it'll dissipate that quick. I have a system that waters every other day, and it's always moist. So I'm pretty sure we can find that.
No, I'll have the staff scheduled out to go out there throughout the day.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Just on another note, Mr. Salinas, that I've also had a complaint in regards to water leak as well on the alleys right off of Hackberry towards the back. But I'll get you I just forgot to get you the address.
Okay.
So I can forward it to Mr. Arjona, and he can probably reach out to you tomorrow. 'Cause-
Okay, no problem. We'll go check it out, sir.
Yeah, yeah, if you can just go check it out,
Yeah.
you know.
I know we did respond to one out there, and there's a section on Hackberry that it's an old irrigation line that's there, that's leaking.
Okay.
So we did advise the irrigation, but let me go
Well,
check that. 'Cause I
yeah,
know-
let me just give you the exact
Yeah,
address.
not a problem, sir.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Mayor, if I may?
Go ahead, sir, yeah.
Chief Tirso Garza, I know that it's been brought up in the past as far as, I know that in your report, you notify us as far as the false alarms that you all respond to.
Correct.
And I noticed that that's the highest number that we see on your report, on the call volume.
That's correct.
We haven't assessed a penalty for having to go out there during these false alarms?
We're currently working on that.
Okay, we're working on something, okay,
As
good.
a matter of fact, we're working on that ordinance because we don't have an ordinance. So I got together with chief, and so we're working on that already
Okay,
to
perfect.
address that.
Good job, thank you.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. So this ordinance is to, I guess, find the individuals?
Well,
Or-
we're actually doing a study more or less to see after how many activations, because I think one of the number ones that we have, false alarm activations is the ISD. So, along with some businesses also, so we're looking into maybe 3 or after 5 of them to actually set a fee, charge a fee.
The repetitive.
Correct. And also, we're looking into also fees for plan reviews and things like that, as far as my part in the fire department to start implementing those fees for new construction.
Mr. Garza, how we doing with the brush? Catching up? We're on schedule?
Got all their street crews helping out also.
Okay,
So on the, first will be on the, north side. But I went, and scouted around today.
Okay.
We're pretty much, pretty much on schedule.
okay.
Not behind.
Wanted to make
We
sure
should
we
be
were getting
done.
calls and stuff like that, but we're on schedule, we're doing good.
Quadrant, a week later, it's back to the way it was. But we're having a residual crew stay, back to pick up all the residuals.
Follow up, Mayor? Mr. Garza, I know that Mr. Cepeda would handle I guess, making contact with the individuals with situations like that where you pick up and then, brush is brought out again. Have we replaced Mr. Cepeda yet, or are we in the process? Okay, so nobody's handling that part of the job right now? Okay, alrighty, sir. And then one more thing, I know you're not on the agenda, but since you were brought up, on Sylvia Circle, apparently there seems to be a speed bump that was put up there on Sylvia Circle that is made of asphalt. Did we do that? The city do that? Okay. The concern is that apparently it's too wide and vehicles are getting stuck up there. Have we gone out there to check? Okay.
We have a similar one over on, I believe it's, what's in the street? Where the drive through?
On Hooper Street.
Yes.
Yeah, Hooper has another
It's
one.
the same, and we have not received any complaints over there.
All right.
But I will see what we can do.
Okay, thank you,
But
sir.
it is asphalt.
Thank you.
Mr. Garza, real quick, in reference to the recycling, bins, I know that you have a pretty long wait list, right? Okay. Just a couple questions as far as, picking them up, the bins. What truck are we using, or? Okay. Okay.
Friday for the pickup.
Perfect. This is what I want you to maybe consider here in the future, is to see if we can somehow, I get with Mr. Arjona and figure out, if we can maybe purchase 1 or 2 recycling trucks, only designated for recycling, and that's it. I mean, I know it's gonna be a cost. I know that we're getting some monies that are coming in from the HEROES Act.
And as a matter of fact, Mayor, I'm sorry that we spoke about this at the last staff meeting, and that's one of the things that the department directors are going to be providing to me, so that we can make an assessment as to what is it that is actually what's needed as far as trucks, such as side loaders, front loaders, or even brush trucks, or any other equipment. So we're going to be bringing it back to you guys for consideration on something like
And
that.
then also, not only that, if for some reason we're able to purchase, you know, 1 or 2 trucks, we also got to get an employee with that as well, right? Because we can't.
That's the other thing we're looking at, not only the equipment. but
Yeah,
also
no,
employment.
I get that, but,
Yes.
but I think it's been, you know, I just figure, it's been brought to my attention. And I know that the worst part is that I'm pretty sure I don't know if you have bins sitting around where you can go out and deliver them, but the problem is getting them picked up. Am I correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay, so,
But we're
okay,
working on that.
perfect, yeah, just, all right, anything else, gentlemen? If not, we'll go ahead and move on, go ahead, sir.
The next item on the public hearing, tonight we have hold a public hearing for a conditional use permit for the sale of alcoholic beverages for on-premise consumption at La Casona Bar, located 202 West Business 83, legally described as the west 125 feet of the east 605 feet of park lots, as requested by Jose Alfredo Vasquez.
Hey, Commissioner, so this is basically the Prim's place currently, but there's a new renter, so they're going through the process with TBC, and they're also getting a conditional use permit from the city for on-premise consumption, as well as late hours permit. Just some of the conditions that they'll be required is to get a TBC license, occupational license, fire inspection, and health permit. So it's a public hearing. The public has an opportunity to say a few words. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and open this up at 6:12 p.m. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Is there any questions, members of the commission, for Mr. Escobar? If not, I'll go ahead and close this at 6:12 p.m. Is there a motion to approve? Move. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item on the ordinance is consider adoption of an ordinance in the first reading of the voluntary annexation petition of the proposed Valley Ranch subdivision being a 23.70 acre tract of land out of Lot 6, Block 27, Alamo Land and Sugar Company subdivision as per the map records in Volume 1, pages 24 to 26, Hidalgo County, Texas, located at the northwest corner of Hall Acres and Chavez Road, as requested by OC Development Ltd.
So this is also a voluntary annexation of Valley Ranch subdivision we're working on, located on Cesar Chavez and Hall Acres. This is the first reading of the ordinance. There's going to be 3 exhibits in the ordinance. Exhibit A is a map, Exhibit B is a meets and bounds, and then Exhibit C is a service plan that has to be signed by the property owner as well as the city manager. So once that goes to the first reading, then we'll do the second reading, and then we'll update the city maps to include that area.
Complying with all the
Yes.
conditions that the city is asking for?
Yes, sir.
Any questions for Mr. Escobar? If not, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item, consider adoption of an ordinance in the first reading of the voluntary annexation petition of Hidalgo County Drainage Canal being a 5.6 acre tract of land out of lots 4, 5, and 6, block 27, Alamo Land and Sugar Company subdivision as per the map recording volume 1 through pages 24 to 26, Hidalgo County, Texas, located at the northwest corner of Hall Acres and Cesar Chavez Road, is requested by Hidalgo County Drainage District.
So this is also similar to the other one, it's a voluntary annexation, first reading. This is located east of Valley Ranch subdivision. It's part of the city's drainage system, and it's also connected to Valley Ranch Phase 1. So, the same thing, we have the map on Exhibit A, B, meets and bounds, and then C, the service plan that's going to be signed by the Hidalgo County Drainage District. So this is the first reading, and then we'll bring it back for second reading.
That's the total
3
readings?
3 exhibits?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Escobar? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item, consider adoption of an ordinance in the first reading amending Appendix A, Unified Development Code, Chapter 3, Subdivision Regulations, Article 3, Procedures and Requirements, Section 3, Design Standards, Subsection Parks and Playgrounds, Paragraph 3, park dedication or fees in lieu of requirements of the City of San Juan's Code of Ordinances for the purpose of establishing certain fees in lieu of parkland dedication, providing for an effective date, providing for publication, providing for codification, providing for severity clause, and providing for a repealer clause.
So the city brought this up. I know the city commission in the past has asked for the parkland fee ordinance to be updated, which is part of the subdivision ordinance. So basically, currently, a developer has to dedicate property or pay 100% of park fees. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow the developer to pay half and the builder to pay the other half. So that's pretty much what this ordinance is discussing.
So the builder's half is when he sells the
Yeah,
actual,
when he
property.
develops a property, he pays half, and then when they come for a building permit, they'll pay that other
the
half.
other half.
Yeah,
Okay.
and other cities do it. The city of Edinburgh does it. City of Mercedes does it also, as well.
So the last time when we spoke about this, we didn't have the ordinance or anything like that?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
We got it done in
So now, if a developer, if they don't want to dedicate parkland, they can go to this option.
Gotcha. Okay. Good. Any questions?
So the ordinance that we have right now is that's what we're trying to change?
Yes, yeah. And there's some language that's added, when they do the plat, there's actually gonna have to be a plat note, so when the property owner purchases the property, they'll know, so they won't be surprised later on.
Gotcha.
It'll be included, yes.
And that's the one that you said that, they wanna pay half, and then when they go and pull out a permit to make a house, we're gonna charge them the other half.
Yes. Yep.
That's common, right?
Yeah, other cities do it, you know, not everybody has it.
Basically, what we're doing is updating our
Ordinance, yeah.
okay, our ordinances and stuff, right?
Mhm.
And this is the result.
Yeah. And we also added something where if it's in the ETJ, they have to pay the full amount. There's no shared cost. Yeah, we added that as well.
Everything was,
Yeah.
We looked at it, from the other ordinances, and so one thing that I like that it had is that if it's on the ETJ, they gotta get all of it, because the permits don't come through us, the permits will go through the county. So that's why we went ahead and included that provision. I know it wasn't discussed the last time we talked about it, but it protects the city and makes sure that we collect the entire park fee up front.
Any other questions? Not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item on discussion and possible action, we have discussion and possible action to approve an interlocal billing agreement between the City of San Juan, Texas and the Military Highway Water Supply Corporation. Authorize the mayor to execute all related document and budget amendment as needed. Mr. Salinas?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. We recently found out that there's a couple of subdivisions in the city of San Juan that received service for sewer from us. They are within the Military Highway CCN for water service. Unfortunately, they're not getting billed. So this agreement will allow us to enter into a contract with Military Highway so they can bill for the sewer services that are being provided currently by the city to those subdivisions. There's a list of the subdivisions that would be attached to this agreement. The current two subdivisions that aren't being built are Summer Heights subdivision and Hall Acres Estates. Summer Heights is a subdivision that was recently developed, and there's only like 4 or 5 houses that have actually been constructed in the area, so it's pretty recent. The agreement you have before you is an agreement that was sent over to us by Military Highway, and that's the way they would like to approach it. I am going to try to add all the subdivisions into one agreement because they wanted to do one agreement per subdivision, then we would have to do every subdivision as it is. The current subdivisions that are there are the ones that I found that are recorded within our city limits but have service for sewer through our CCN but are in the Military Highway CCN. So that's what this ordinance, this agreement is for, is to address that so we can start billing for those services. On top of that, we do allow for them to bill for garbage and stormwater fee. Currently, that's being handled in-house, but this way they'll only receive one bill instead of getting 2 bills.
Questions? For Mr. Salinas?
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
They're gonna
Are we gonna pay a fee for them, for them?
Yes, sir. The fees are listed in the agreement. Let me pull the agreement right now. 'Cause
$8?
it's like $8 for a set of fees, and then it's like $5 for each one of those.
Okay,
So we
gotcha.
would pay those for every, and the city would be responsible for paying those, not the customer.
And this is gonna be normal for any subdivision
Yeah.
that develops that, we need to take into
Eh,
this here.
We currently have a similar agreement. In fact, the next agreement that we have with North Alamo, that's a similar agreement they have for their sewer. But North Alamo currently also bills for our sewer and their CCN on the north side of town. We have a lot of sewer in that area, but they provide water. So currently, we have a similar agreement with North Alamo with similar fees.
Any other questions? Not, is there a motion approved? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Thank
The
you,
next
sir.
item, Mayor Commissioners, discussion and possible action to approve the renewal of the wholesale wastewater treatment interlocal agreement by-in between the City of San Juan and North Alamo Water Supply Corporation, authorize the mayor to execute all related documents and budget amendment as needed. On this one, Mayor Commissioners, I spoke to Mr. Salinas, and this is an item where there's a discrepancy of 5 pennies on the wastewater. So what I'm gonna ask, we can take no action on this particular item, because what I like to do is do a more thorough assessment and look more into it before we actually assess the 5 pennies. It may be 3 pennies, 2 pennies, a penny. It may not be that much, but it's 5 pennies that there's a discrepancy that we're seeing as when we do the average. But I'd like to do a more thorough analysis on this before we can actually bring it before you.
That being said, at this time, we'll take no action.
Yes, sir.
For the record. Okay, thank you.
The next item, Mayor Commissioners, consider selecting a constructability review firm and authorize the city manager to enter into a contract for constructability review services for the RFQ 21-02-02-22. Mr. Salinas?
Good afternoon, again, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. We solicited proposals for a constructability review service. We received 4 not proposals, statements qualifications. We received 4 statements qualifications, S&B Infrastructure, ASD Consultants Inc., AGCM, and Constructability. We did review the qualifications. Mr. Garza and I reviewed them. Fortunately, I did not attach the review requirements. I do have copies here with me. If I would pass them out so you guys can see those. So each of the firms were ranked with 4 questions. On that, number 1 is the score that Mr. Garza gave him. The second column is the score that I gave him. The project teams were ranked on demonstrating the competency and experience with the project, and they would give them up to 35 points for that project. The second one was project team and resumes, and that's the resumes on the team that they were going to assign to do the project for the city. Number 3 was the project approach, and they received 3 points for that one. Second one, it was 20 points. And then number 4 was adherence to the affirmative action, and the reason why that's in there, that's in case if we decide to seek funding through Texas Water Development Board, we already covered that side, that they are compliant with the affirmative action with the DBE programs and the women minority-owned programs and disadvantaged programs.
Pretty much they're in good standings.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
So for that one, they could get up to a total of 15 points for that one. So if you to see their constructability, got the highest points of 150 total. S&B Infrastructure 115, ASD Consultants 120, and AG and CM 130. And that's combined totals with the ranking of Mr. Garza and myself.
So when you say Mr. Garza, you're talking
I'm talking about Mr. Royal Garza, yes, sir, I'm sorry,
Royal
the
Garza.
Public Works Director, just to clarify, yes, sir.
Okay.
The Public Works Director, Mr. Garza, and I.
Okay. So obviously your recommendation would be the constructability?
Right now, based on the highest ranking,
Yeah,
yes, that would be
exactly.
the,
Based
that would
on the
be,
ranking.
based on ranking, that would be the recommendation, yes.
Mhm. Any questions for Mr. Salinas?
Yes, if I may.
Go ahead, sir.
So exactly what is the purpose of hiring?
So what this company would do is they would, anytime we have a project, right now it's for, of course, the water and wastewater projects, they would take the projects and review them, and they would negotiate a fee with the city based on the project size. We would bring that back to negotiate the amount, to approve it. But what they're gonna do is review that, the cost estimate that we received and the design that they did can be constructed for the amount of money that we were told it could be did. And the other job would be is if there is a change order, they would help the city negotiate the change order based on their construction experience on how much that project should cost. So this way is basically a checks and measures to make sure that what we're being told we can do for the amount of money that we have, we can do it. And if they find some savings, so we can turn around and get more basically bang for a buck to be able to build more with the amount of money that we have. That is what this would be for.
And companies that we've already, are we in contract with anybody for the projects that are on the table?
No, sir. Not for constructability, no, sir.
Not for constructing anything?
No, sir.
There's no.
Not right now, we don't have any contracts. Now,
Okay.
when the constructability did a small contract about a year ago, to check the constructability of the filter, the new solid handling facility.
Okay.
Yes.
And so they've already done work for us?
Yes.
And how much money did they save the city?
That one was, I don't remember. It wasn't that big of an amount. I think it was, I'm gonna say about $25,000. In fact, they're the ones that recommended the change order for the savings that we have.
All right, and how much did we pay them for that project?
I think it was 9,000, I think. I need to check, sir. I don't remember the exact amount, but I need to check.
The only issue and the words that I don't like are change orders.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons why they're there, is to help us to make sure that those change orders don't come. And that's why constructability review is to make sure that what is being designed, the contractor is gonna be able to build without applying for a change order. That is what their role is gonna be. So we don't have that change orders.
But
If you all remember,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but you mentioned that on the change orders, they would come.
if there is a change order, for whatever reason, they would help to review that so that change order doesn't exceed the money. But their job for the constructability review up front is to review it to make sure that we don't have change orders. Now, once we start digging out, say like for instance, we're gonna change a water line or something. Once we start digging around, there's a lot of stuff underground that we unfortunately just don't know because we don't have very accurate records. So if something like that happens, that's usually when a change order is. So if we do get a change order, their review of the change order makes sure that whatever the contractor is telling us is correct and is billable at the right amount, and not just giving us a number because it was a change order, I'm going to charge you whatever I want. So, but their primary job is to make sure that we don't have change orders. That's what the review is for, to make sure that, correct. Yeah, so just to make sure that if they tell us we can build this plant for $9.5 million, I'm gonna use that number because that's about what the cost for the rehab of the wastewater plant is. So they'll review those drawings and they're gonna tell us based on the drawings and based on a number, you can do this. Or they can say, look, you have this one, but based on the construction methods, you're gonna have a change order. If you do it this way, you can do it better and it'll be cheaper. Or they'll tell us right off the bat, it's gonna cost you more. There's no way this can happen. But that's what the review's for, to make sure that we're not gonna be hit with surprises later on down the road.
The company that we approve is gonna look at each and every project that comes to the table for the city for the year?
If the commission decides to, it's based on project basis. So if, like for instance, we have a road project, and we want that reviewed, then we can negotiate an agreement with that contract, with that company to review that to make sure.
I'm saying it's based on the project itself.
Yes, it's based on the
We're
project
not gonna
itself.
pay them any monthly.
No, it's not monthly fee. No, it's per project only. So if we don't have a project, they don't get paid.
Right.
Some projects that we may not need.
And there might be some projects that may not need it, or even some larger projects that we may not need.
Just kind of using the scenario that you mentioned on the street project, if an engineer or someone comes up to the city and says, look, it's gonna cost you guys $2 million to work on the street projects, right? And if it goes over let's just say 2.5 or 2.9 million, well, obviously, I mean, that's the issue I have when it comes to change orders, you know?
Correct.
'Cause they are the experts.
Yes.
We're not, you know,
Correct.
so you're coming to the city and telling us this is a certain amount, and then we gotta come back and give you an additional
Yeah.
monies to complete the project, you know?
Correct.
But I totally understand what you're saying when you dig, like, that was
Yeah.
a good,
I want to make
Yeah.
sure, so
And-
this company will actually assure us and do a review so we avoid any change orders. So if there is a, for whatever
But-
reason, who gauges their possibility? Once I'm pretty sure there's going to be change orders, but at what point are we gonna? Who's going to absorb any change orders, and how who's going to gauge if it was the issue was already existing or they caused that issue?
And right now, without this, we would absorb that cost.
We would have absorbed it,
Yes,
right?
we would have to absorb that cost. With this one, the companies, we can negotiate for them to an agreement. If they say we're gonna save X and we didn't, well, we can talk to them about that. That could be something I can discuss with them. I'm gonna tell you, we didn't discuss that. That wasn't an item that was put in this contract to see if there would be a guarantee. Okay? So, but that's something we can discuss with each and every one of these.
make a decision tonight and this evening in reference to this?
No, sir.
Well, my point is that if you can go back and discuss it, then I
Yeah.
think you should.
Yeah.
You know, because the last thing I want is for, I just don't like that word change orders.
Yeah, no, and that's one of the reasons why we're looking at this, because if you all recall the amount of change orders we had for the water plant and how long it took.
And the reason why,
Yeah.
I guess, you know, I'm very
You know.
adamant about it.
Yeah.
You just hit it on the nail.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
And
going through the experience.
of
that
going
we
through all
went
those changes.
You were there first time.
yeah, and that's why we're looking at this closely, and if you all recall, we put out another project out for bid, and it came out almost $300,000 over the estimated cost. Plant number one, so we took no action on that.
Yeah, going back and talking to them.
Yeah.
And adding that in, as Mayor mentioned.
I say we maybe, how much time do you need? You think by their next?
I can have it by the
meeting?
next commission meeting, sir.
Okay, so then I think my recommendation is go ahead and table this.
Okay, not a problem, sir. Then I will reach out to each one of the,
No, well, I want, I mean,
Yeah,
I just
I
want
mean-
it back, but I just want clarification
Yeah, no
in
problem.
reference to the change orders.
Yeah.
I don't mind bringing back this item on our next city meeting.
yeah,
You know?
Not a
I mean,
problem.
it needs to get done,
yeah.
but I just.
Yeah, no, and that's, those issues that we had with plant one, the issues that we had with wastewater, with the water plant number two, those are why this is here, is because we went through a lot of issues with water plant number two. And then when we put number one out for bid, they had given us a construction estimate of $530 some thousand. It came out
That's the whole intent, to
at almost
minimize
$800,000.
change orders as much as we can.
If, you know, the ideal for me is if they can come back and say, you know what, if there's change orders, we'll take the hit.
Okay.
But realistically,
Yeah.
I get it, and
Yeah.
you know, I know how it works, but
Yeah.
that's the goal, you know.
All right.
for-
No, I would ask them. I just want to say that might make the price go higher. I mean, if
beauty of
they
it
have
is-
to
I
guar-
mean-
if they have to guarantee it, that might make their price to be
It's
real,
like
but,
insurance, I mean.
yeah.
you know
No,
what
yeah,
I'm saying?
no,
And the
that's
good
what I'm
thing
saying.
about this
Because that's
is
what it
this
is. We're buying some type of insurance that,
We say we can go ahead in that manner, 'cause it's per project, you know what I'm saying? So there's
Yeah.
gonna be times where we may need
Yeah.
it, sometimes we may.
and that's what's good about it. It's not going to be a contract that the city would have to be repaying retainers on or anything like that. It's on a per project basis, so.
And one
and
thing to
we
keep
can
in
do it.
mind, this is not a bid, this is an RFQ, so we
Yeah.
can always go back and negotiate this.
Yeah, no,
Bring it
that's,
back.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why my
All right.
recommendation is that we table this item.
Yep.
And we bring it back for the next one, and hopefully, you know, Mr. Salinas can have the
Yeah, not a problem.
information we need.
I can do that first thing tomorrow and try to get the
So
information.
with that being said, is there a motion to table? Second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. This item has been tabled, okay? Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Appreciate it.
The next item on the construction, we have consideration approval of the interlocal agreement between the Hidalgo County and the city of San Juan. San Juan Head Start Center located 200 North Coover, San Juan, Texas. Mayor Commissioners, this is the same renewal contract we have on a yearly basis. This is the one where we get $12 a year for the use. Am I right, Mr. Gonzalez? Yes,
How much?
$12.
12?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions? Not, is there a motion approved? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Under resolutions, tonight we have considered and approval of resolution in support of the legislation, Senate Bill 1465, that was filed by State Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa and House Bill 4119, filed by State Representative Ryan Guillen, and any other action relating to operation of the Texas Small and Rural Community Success Fund Program administered by the Texas Leverage Fund Program. As you recall, about 2 years ago, we did pretty much the same thing, support, and this is so that we can get that Texas Leverage loan program going. So this is just a support letter that we're gonna send over, so hopefully we can get it approved this go around. And we'll get it from the city, and then the next one, we'll get it through the EDC as well.
Good, good, good. Okay. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, sir.
Next item under consent agenda, we only have the tax election report, February 2021.
Is there anything we need to modify or amend under consent agenda? With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item under executive session, we have the San Juan City Commission will convene an executive session according with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Vernon's Texas statutes and codes annotated, Government Code Chapter 551 and 551.071, consultation with attorney pursuant to Section 551.087, economic development negotiations, and 551.071, consultation with attorney, deliberation regarding the economic development incentive agreement between the City of San Juan EDC, and the Shops of San Juan LLC.
That being said, is there a motion to enter executive session? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will enter at 6:36 p.m. Thank you.
Oh, you're gonna fall. You're actually.
Sir, te dejaron solo.
We're back from executive session at 6:43 p.m. Is there a motion to reconvene? I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Juana?
Mayor, on the item, discussion and possible action regarding the amendment to the economic development incentive agreement between the City of San Juan at the Shops at the San Juan LLC. My recommendation, as we discussed, was that to make an amendment to the 380 agreement that we currently have in place to $75,000 on our 380 agreement.
Perfect. With that being said, I'll go ahead and make that in a motion. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting has been adjourned at 6:44 p.m. Thank you.